Hey, what's going on everyone? So today I'm going to be showing you how to build this easy Minecraft resin farm for Minecraft 1.12.4. For this farm, you're going to need 2 chests, 1 hopper, 25 redstone, 14 pale oak logs, 7 creaking hearts, 14 pistons, 7 pressure plates, 4 repeaters, 1 sign, 2 water buckets, and then 4 stacks plus 9 of any solid blocks, and 1 stack plus 5 of any slabs that you want. To start out with this farm, you want to find a big open flat area, or ideally on top of a mountain like this, to prevent the creakings from spawning outside your farm. So the first thing you want to do is place 2 chests onto the ground like this, and then add a hopper going into the chest. Then around the hopper, you want to add a 4 block tall pillar. After you make your 4 block tall pillar, go ahead and break these 2 front blocks right here so you can access your chest. Next, you want to add 2 extra blocks on each side of the pillars, just like this. Then you want to add 2 block tall high walls around this row of blocks right here. After you have your little channel here, you want to place a sign over the middle block, just like that, and then you want to take water and put it at the ends of each of the rows. The next thing you want to do is build a 7 block by 8 block platform at the back of your farm here. You should have something that looks like this when you're done. Next, you want to build up 2 block high walls along this entire platform. Now you should have a closed-in box that looks like this. The next thing you want to do is take your water and place it at the very back on the opposite end from this water stream here. Because the platform is 8 blocks long, the water should stop right here before it falls into this next water stream here. The next thing you want to do is take your pale oak logs and put them face up along this back row right here, right above this water line. Your creaking hearts are going to go here on top of this row of wood, but don't put these yet because the farm will start to spawn and it'll make it a lot more difficult to build. Instead, what you want to do next is put a second pale oak log above the first one, just like this, with a gap in between. So it should look something like this all the way down. So now we have our 2 rows of pale oak logs, just like this. And then the next thing you want to do is put a row of slabs on top of your top row of pale oak logs here. Then you want to take 7 of your pistons and put them facing downward above the pale oak logs, just like this. So all your pistons should be facing downward. So now we're going to build the clock for the pistons to actually harvest the resin that produces. So what you're going to want to do is break this slab here and then add 2 solid blocks just like this. And then you want to extend this out 3 more blocks. So you end up with a 2x8 platform here at the back. Next, you're going to place 2 repeaters facing this way and change them each to 2 ticks. And then you're going to go on the other side and place 2 more repeaters facing the opposite way and also change these to 2 ticks. Then you're going to want to take redstone, connect these 2 ends, and put redstone all the way down your line of pistons here. We'll turn this clock on a second, but the next thing you want to do is take your solid blocks and build up a wall here on the side of each of the pistons, and then you want to take your solid blocks and cover all the outsides of the pale oak logs here on the outside. So you should have something that looks like this after you do that. The next thing you want to do is from this top row of logs here, you want to go 4 blocks out. You can break these 3, and then on this 4th block, you want to add a line of blocks all the way down. So you should have a line of blocks that's equal with the length of your pistons here. Next, add a 2nd row onto the back of your 1st row here, and then go up a level and place a block on the back here, and then break this 1st block, and then place another row of blocks all the way down just like this. So after you do that, then you want to place a row of redstone on this bottom layer here, and on this 2nd back layer, just like this. So you should end up with something that looks like this after you do both of those steps. Then you want to take your pistons and place them on top of the redstone, and they should be facing you when you place them down just like that. You want to place these pistons all the way down across all the redstone. Next, you want to take your pressure plates and put them down in front of each piston, just like this. What this is going to do is when the creaking spawn, they can actually spawn on these pressure plates here. So when they spawn, the pistons will push them off right away, so they're not hanging around up here on your farm waiting to fall down. The next thing you want to do is just build up a little wall here on the side to prevent the creaking from falling out of your farm and making sure they actually stay in to be collected. It should look like this, and you want to do that on both sides of the farm. Alright, now our farm is almost finished, so the last step now is to just cover all these solid block spaces here with slabs to prevent the creaking from spawning anywhere else besides on these pressure plates right here. You even want to take slabs and place them above all of your redstone, just like this, for this back row, for this row here over these pistons, and over your little repeater clock here, just like this. Lastly, the way to turn on your clock here is you're going to need a redstone torch, place a solid block at this end, and then you want to quickly place the torch and break it. After you do that, you'll see your little circuit going around just like this. You can also break this block, and then your pistons will be automatically going up and down. The last step is to place your creaking hearts here in between your two logs, and then when you place them down, they'll be lit up just like this, and that will show that they're active, and now your farm is ready to go. So now all that's left is to wait for nighttime, and then our creakings will spawn in here, and we just whack them with a sword, and then we'll collect all kinds of resin. So one mistake I actually made with my farm is I made it one block too low. The creaking hearts can spawn 8 blocks down, so this row of blocks right here is actually too high. So the way you can fix that is either just make this 1 block taller, or you can put these creaking hearts up 1 block higher, just move this part up. But in my case, I'm just going to remove this layer of grass right here, and that should fix the problem. Okay, so I removed all the grass blocks. Now we just sit here and wait for our creakings to spawn and fall in right here. Because we made this opening 2 blocks tall, we're able to easily hit the creaking, but if we happen to walk away or look away, for instance, they actually can't get out because their hitbox is 3 blocks tall, so they're not able to get out of this spot. Then what you want to do is you just swing at the creaking just like this, and then eventually resin will start being produced and it'll start falling down into our hopper. The farm does take a little bit to get fully up and running, but eventually you'll have 7 creaking in here, and then you just use a sword to whack at them and it'll produce tons of resin for you. Additionally, you can use any sword for this. It doesn't have to be a netherite sword or a wooden sword. Those are just the 2 I chose to use, but any sword works for this farm. Okay, so then once it becomes daytime, all your creaking will disappear because they despawn in the daytime. So we managed to get about 13.5 resin clumps through the entire night with this farm. So now you can take these and smelt them down into the resin bricks, and then you can make all the new resin building blocks. So the last thing I want to talk about with this farm is just a couple tips and tricks that you can use to change this up. So you could actually add more creaking hearts if you want. You could put them on this side of the wall, for example, and this side, and even over here. So you could have creaking hearts all the way around. And as long as you have a little platform here in the middle to push the creaking off, you can actually speed this farm up quite considerably. The other thing is, if you would like to turn this circuit off, it's not a big deal if it stays on, but there is a way to turn it off. What you're going to need is a lever, a redstone torch, and another block. And what you're going to do is on the repeaters that are coming out from the pistons is you're going to place a solid block here, and then a redstone torch right here, and then just place a lever on this side of the block. And then when you flip it, it'll actually turn off your whole system. But then as soon as you flip the lever back on, it goes back to working just fine. However, if you put this little lever here, you're going to want to change these all to 1 ticks instead of 2. And then the last thing is when you're actually hitting the creaking here, you don't have to use a sword. Using a sword is what will speed it up the most. But if you don't have a sword or don't want to use it, for instance, you can just punch them. Don't break your farm like that. But punching them still works. You just won't get as much resin. So I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more tutorials like this. And leave a comment down below telling me if you're going to build this farm. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.